Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Doskvol Dandies. I am your host and game master, Dan, and I am joined, as always, by the Dandies themselves, Aaron,
Hello.
Emrys, Bertie, and Simon. As we do every session, let's just briefly go around and introduce ourselves and our characters. Why don't we start with you, Aaron, and then we'll go clockwise.
My character is Jonas. He is a whisperer, which means he talks to the dead people mostly. He sees ghosts and can try to convince them to do his bidding, hopefully, if we're lucky.
I am Daimi. I'm the group's hound. I hunt people down and then usually kill them.
I'm Simon, Dolbin Westgate, aka Bluefoot. I'm a leech, which is basically a mad scientist. Alchemy, gadgets, sabotage, and fashion.
I'm Abernathy. I'm the group spider, so I make plans. I know people.
All right, so when last we met our group of miscreants, you had recently undertaken what I would consider your first really major score with a lot of risk involved. And there was some long-term potential enemies and long-term alliances that were forged by your successful assassination of one Kieran, the Iron Shield, who is a spirit warden that met an untimely end at your machinations. So now, because that last session ran a little long, the party did not get a chance to do their downtime activities, which in Blades in the Dark, the lovely system we are setting, which is linked in the Twitch notes below, there's a big part of what you do is how you deal with the stress and bad things that accumulate during these missions, which include damage to your character's psyche, to their person, but also long-term projects to keep the cops off your tail or to improve or reduce relations with various factions that are affected by your scores. So that's what we're going to head into next, is we're going to talk about downtime and what our players were doing after this major job that generated a ton of heat for the gang and brought a lot of attention down on the gang, and the next getting back to business score that they're on. So who would like to go first with downtime activities?
I'll go first.
Perfect. Let me just bring up your sheet. All right. So talk to me a little bit about what Bluefoot's going to be doing.
I took a huge amount of stress
You
during
did.
this last score, and with being in desperate situations and flashing back and, well, just taking a lot of stress. So, is it possible for me to basically indulge my vice for both of my downtime activities?
As far as I understand, I could be wrong, but I think you can only engage your vice once per downtime activity. But if the rules don't say anything specifically for it, I'll let you do it twice, but just know that indulging it the second time will be significantly riskier than the first.
Well, let me indulge first.
And then
see how
decide
it
if you're
goes.
going to do it again. Yeah, I'll accept that. So, would you remind our viewers what your vice is?
My vice is fashion. I'm obsessed with wearing the latest and the best, and maybe unwisely for a criminal, being seen. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my favorite tailor. I'm going to spend a coin and have him suit me out right.
Okay.
And then I'm going to sort of strut the promenades.
Nice.
Or sort of do some peacocking.
So when you roll your Vice, you roll your lowest attribute, I believe, correct?
Correct.
And you need to show us what you get on that lowest attribute. I'll come back over here to the roll screen briefly. And then that's how much stress you remove.
Right.
If you roll above the amount of stress that you currently have, which if you're rolling your lowest attribute, it's going to be 1 die. So in this case, it would be impossible for that. But if you choose to do it again, we may have like a blackjack situation going on, or if you reduce it by a lot on this first roll, it gets very dangerous to do it again.
So, it looks like there's a button to indulge vice.
There is indeed.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess no bonus dice or...
Huh, look at that.
That'd be right.
The fans of this game on Roll20 have done incredible things.
Is that right? Just a 1 die, no bonus dice?
Correct. So you rolled a un, so you clear 1 stress. So I'm guessing that you're probably going to want to go again.
Yeah, I rolled an un last time I tried to indulge my vice.
It's not.
So,
that's not really great.
okay, let me, let's...
Okay, yes, go for it. Try it again.
I'm gonna go for it. Three.
Okay, so you were at 7.
Yeah.
So now you're at 3 total.
Yeah, that feels better.
That feels much better. I went ahead and since I already had it open, I went ahead and updated it for you.
I woke up wearing a cape I didn't even remember buying.
Well, I mean, in a way, this kind of makes sense. You know, like you guys did this big score for Alexandra. You felt comfortable spending the coin that you had gotten, and you went out and spent a ton of your discretionary money, not on saving for your eventual escape, but for indulging your vice and putting away clothes in your closet. So that's great. That's a nice start. And Bluefoot comes in a nice fashionable double-breasted suit with a nice cape, very Lando Calrissian-esque.
Yeah, that's basically a fashion critical hit if you're pulling a Lando.
Yeah, well, I feel like he also has the benefit of the fact that for the most part in Star Wars, everyone is like critically unfashionable. It's easier to be fashionable when everybody else is like literal filth farmers.
This is actually true. Yeah.
Eggs.
But yeah, so who wants to go next on downtime activities?
I'll go.
All right.
I would like to check in on one thing before I decide my second activity. Did we finish the clock that was to pull one over on the red sashes and avert the blame or not?
No, you did not finish that.
Okay, in that
in
case,
fact,
it should only have one segment left then, because I remember I think I did 5 to it, because I spent some coin to make a 6 into a critical, and it was a 6-segment clock, and then I left it alone. So...
yeah. So,
I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm going to blow both my downtime activities together. I want to reduce heat and work on that clock. Now, one of the examples the book gives about...
I'm going to go ahead and lick that clock.
Alrighty. It should be at 5 out of 6. Yes. So what I want to do is it specifically says that to reduce heat, I could do something like, say, consort with the bluecoats. But I went there and I gave them a whole bunch of coin last time. So what I would like to do this time is I want to reduce heat by consorting with our information broker. She would know and be in a position to spread information about what we do, what we have done, what we haven't done. So I want to attempt to consort with her to spread some misinformation, maybe have her spread around that we didn't do some more incriminating jobs against us in an attempt to reduce our heat. And I would also, while I'm talking with her, try to put together the last piece of the puzzle on how to shift the blame from the red sashes and finish out that clock.
Okay. So tell me what you say.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. I thought I kind of just had.
Well, so you told me what you want to accomplish. You didn't tell me what you do exactly, right? You decide what the story is. You decide what the cover story is. You decide how you're shifting the red sashes, and then we see how successful it is.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna let you roll this, but since you're trying to accomplish 2 actions at once.
Oh no, I was gonna burn both of my downtime activities, but I was gonna spend them both with her. That's what I meant by 2 at once.
Okay, so let's start with the reducing heat. Now, what's the mechanical aspects of that roll?
It says make the appropriate roll, and I'm doing the thing where I consort with my friend and arranges for a few incriminating information things about who did what to disappear, and then I would reduce heat according to the result.
And what page are you looking at?
I am looking at page 155, about 3/4 of the way down the page.
Perfect. Okay, go ahead and roll it.
Consort, position risky, effect standard, bonus dice 0. 4 and a 1. So it says reduce heat according to the result. 4 to 5 is 2.
Okay.
So
I'll go ahead and adjust that on the sheet.
And then the next one would be, I kind of wanted to keep doing more of the same, so I'll spend my entire downtime with her, like going over rumors, going over reports she's had, listening to her talk about who's interested in what, and try to direct her to put some information to people and not to others for the trying to help shift the blame for the red sashes.
Okay.
So that's why I'm spending my whole downtime with her. What would that one be?
So I would say that if you're trying to really shift blame, I think this is going to be a sway.
Okay.
You're starting to get more notoriety. So I'm going to say that this is from a no. I'm going to say this is going to have limited effect. The position hasn't shifted, but it's going to have a more limited effect.
Okay. Position risky, effect limited. Now, so that would basically reduce it by 1. So if I roll a 1 to a 3, it wouldn't actually increase the clock at all, correct?
Say that one more time.
So because the effect is limited, it'd basically shift the amount I adjust the clock down by 1.
That's
right?
correct.
So what I'd like to do is I'm going to spend 2 stress to counteract that, because I can get extra dice, or I can increase the position.
That's
so
fine.
I'm going to spend 2 stress to increase the effect to standard. And no bonus dice. And I roll the 1. But a 1 to 3 is still 1 tick on a clock. So that I basically burn the stress to fill up the clock.
Okay. So you shifted the blame for the red sashes, which also gets rid of the clock that I had been working on, which did advance once in downtime, which was red sashes strike back.
Lovely. And then, now that I'm at 7 stress, I'm going to burn a coin, because I have 1 on my sheet. So I'm going to burn 1 for a 3rd downtime activity and go ahead and indulge my vice. Indulge my vice as my last thing.
Can you remind the ladies and gentlemen of the audience what your vice is?
Well, I indulge in pleasures of the flesh, and since we just had that wonderful thing and I didn't get to do any of it, I need some indulgence. So I will be able
Sorry,
to
are you
remove
jealous?
5
Yes.
stress.
All right. So you got rid of 5 stress, and how many did you have?
I had 7 after I burnt the after I spent the stress for extra effect. So
Perfect.
now I am down to 2. And that would be all I can do.
All right. Who would like to go next?
I'm trying to figure out how I want to. I need
Well-
more than 2 downtime activities. What I need.
Do you have
No.
coin?
I poured all
You-
that into the vault.
You can also spend a gang rep to do one. And remember, we did get 2 coin from our information broker, so we haven't decided where they go yet, since you were busy keeping 3 guys from breathing down our necks. I don't think there'd be any what's the word, objections if
Arguments,
you were to
yeah.
spend one of the coin that we earned from our information brokers to get your 3rd activity.
Guys. What the fuck? I'm trying to. I forget what are the this PDF is loading slow as shit. Someone with a book tell me what the options are for Vice. Please. And thank you.
What the options are? Oh, because you're shifting yours, correct?
Yes, I would really love to shift mine entirely. So I
give me
can
a
stop.
sec.
So I can
Give
stop
me a second.
now that I have to indulge my vice every time.
It's on page 55. Faith, gambling, luxury, obligation, which is what you have,
Yeah.
pleasure, stupor, and weird. And there are a whole number of subsets of those. So you can choose a specific faith, you can choose a specific game of chance, you can choose a specific pleasure, you can choose to abuse a specific drug.
Drugs are definitely what I'm leaning towards.
I mean, but you could also do faith and do an ancestor and go on like a deep dive even farther down with your family and circumvent your loyalty to your family with loyalty to some ancient ancestor that had some dark. I'm just throwing ideas out there. Do what you want. Okay.
My fantasy world.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Boss.
Did you pick your new ability?
My what? No.
Okay. So
Okay,
let's start
okay.
there. Daimi is the first character in our party to achieve a playbook advancement.
Fuck yeah, I am.
So now she gets to choose a new special ability off of her sheet. So I've erased your experience there. And you get
Thanks.
to-
I'm not in love with any of them. I mean, I kind of want to take tough as nails, but that doesn't help me currently.
Oh, come on, Bridget. You want vegeful. Somebody is typing very frantically.
My bad.
What might always be great is Survivor, especially now that you've got a trauma. You just permanently get +1 stress box. Of course, I'm the stress junkie. We all knew I was going to suggest that one.
Yeah. Although, that does help me now that I do have the trauma. So if there is it does come a time where I want to not engage it during downtime, it won't fuck me as much in the coming score. Yeah, I think I'm going to take that one.
Which one? The Survivor?
I clicked it. Don't click it. Okay, is that retroactive or?
It just, instead of going into trauma at 9, you'll get another trauma at 10, pretty much. I don't think the sheet might not actually add another box in, but you have a 10th box.
Okay.
Yeah. The box doesn't the sheet doesn't update for the additional box.
Okay. Okay, so for my downtime, I need to heal. Remind me what do I roll for that?
So it's since you guys don't currently have the healer on retainer,
Right.
you have to go to somebody, and the quality is based on the quality of the gang, right, Emrys? Or the tier level of the game?
I believe it's
think
tier, yes.
so. I'm sorry, I'm on the page. If you don't have a contact, you can use the acquire asset to get one. Your healer or you rolls. You may heal yourself if you have the physical ability. You may also simply choose to tough it out and attempt to heal without treatment. Which is you take a stress and roll no dice, which is to take the lowest. So it might be worth it to find the healer again before trying to tough it out.
But that's going to take up more of my downtime.
Well, it's going to take a downtime activity. And then healing will be the second downtime activity. Or you can just try to tough it out and heal yourself. That's part of this game.
But there's so much other shit I have to do.
It's almost like you have to make the best of limited resources.
What? Whoever has to do that?
No.
No.
All right. So I gained a stress box, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna take the one stress for not indulging my vice. So I get plus one plus my trauma stress. I only have one trauma. I guess I'm gonna hunt down a physiker.
We already have the one who we hired
Right, so
last
it's a
time.
smaller clock.
Correct.
So I think the first time I made it a 6-tick clock. So this time I'm going to make it a 4-tick clock.
One thing we might want to do with Dan's permission is, Jonas, do you need healing as well?
I do.
Instead of making Daimi take all hers and then Jonas take all his, you could each try to put in one towards tracking this guy down, and then you'd both have it for both of your downtimes.
Yep. That's
If
fine.
I like that plan.
So
If Jonas
I
decides
agree.
he wants to heal.
okay, so Daimi, make your roll to try to acquire the physiker. It's
Be right back.
It's a consort roll.
It's consort. I have consort.
Ha ha.
Risky? Or are we moving that to controlled because...
The default state of this game is risky.
But we know the guy already.
Doesn't matter. Don't think of risky as like a negative. Risky's the default state.
It's neutral, almost.
Life is risky. So I believe 5 is what, 2 ticks?
3 ticks. I think it goes. Oh nope, you're correct. 1, 2, 3, 5. So yes, 2 ticks.
Okay, so she's got 2 out of 4 ticks towards acquiring this guy. That's 1 downtime activity for Daimi. What about you, Jonas? You gonna try to...
I will certainly do what I can to help. Oh, look at that.
Nice.
6.
My ribs feel better already.
Okay, so you guys acquired that healer. Did we ever name that guy?
No, we didn't. Maybe we should.
I think we did.
We'll just call him Jebediah Markland. Physiker.
That'd be a fun clock. Acquire Jebediah.
Yeah. Physiker. Potioner. Notary Public.
Mhm.
Alright, so now let's start with Daimi. You need to make your heal roll. So, what were the stats? I believe the stats that we put on this guy before, whereas we gave him 3 dice.
I thought it was 2, but the gang's tier has gone up, so it would make sense for him
Right,
to
he
be
would have
3.
3 dice now. So, do you want to just do me a favor, Dimey, and just roll a 3 dice fortune roll?
If my fucking page would cooperate.
What'd you say the last name was, Dan? Jebediah what?
Markland.
Thank you.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
So how many ticks does she get on the healing clock for a 6 in a risky position?
I believe it's a 3.
Nice, that's really good.
Do I get... Wait, time out. But I don't get to knock them down 1 yet.
No, you have to
No.
fill the clock. Healing
Okay.
takes time. There's
So-
there's no magical healing in this world.
So my -1 die is to life.
To life.
It's for whatever it would be. Dan decides it would be applicable to. It's not -1 die to literally everything.
Yeah, no. I would say what you have
Yeah.
would be apply to things like if you're trying to prowl or like hunt or do anything where your paranoia is going to come into play, where you're scared to death is going to cause you to be more nervous.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to keep negatives because it makes the game more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
On the plus side, healing is 1 clock where it rolls over. So if you get high enough next time, you won't just fill the last segment then done. Any extra
You'll
healing.
move on to the next time you need to get healed.
Oh, nice. I like that. I like this game.
I know, it's almost like it's ridiculously well designed or something.
Someone should tell John.
Yes, I do tell John on Twitter all the time. All right.
That makes it me.
So, Aaron, what are you doing? You have 1 downtime activity. You're going to use it to heal, I feel like.
No, I am not. I have this ghost I have to help. Otherwise, she's going to be haunting me forever, I suspect.
That is very fair.
Ironically, her name is Jessica. I'll leave that there.
So you
So-
are afraid of this ghost.
Oh, right.
My wife
I
is
did
not
name
haunting
that
you.
ghost Jessica, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Well, I was just using the name generator because it's actually Jessica with a K.
Oh, okay. That doesn't make a lot of difference.
Jessica is his wife's name in real life.
Aww. She can come live with us.
Funnily enough, it's my wife's name too.
Yeah, well, it's almost like a lot of people are named Jessica.
Almost.
Almost.
So I am going to spend my second downtime activity communing with her to see if I can figure out why she is stuck here and see if I can figure out what I need to do to help move her along.
Why don't you do me a favor and roll an attune?
I got that. Oh, Jesus. That's not so good.
So what does that get you?
I imagine it's probably, one box? I don't know what the
Yes.
conversions are.
Yes, it's 1 box. So you get to decide what information does she give you? What kind of hints? Paint me a picture with your mind brush of the scene.
So I kind of picture kind of sitting there, nice lotus position, nice little candle in the middle of the room, be kind of communing with her. And
You and your
Just-
dates.
hey, it's got to be romantic, otherwise they don't open up. And just kind of talk to her about her life and see if I can get her to tell me how she died. That's kind of the direction I'm going, is the how she died.
Okay,
What-
so she goes, you start communing with her, and, you have this, whole big, circle of candles around you, and you start to draw on, the ectoplasmic energy around you, not just in your hideout, but around drawing into that energy to try to give her a more stable form and more gravitas to her presence, so she can articulate thoughts that you can more easily understand. And as you do so,
Did
you
not
start.
mean to do that.
What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
And as you do that, you start to see a little bit of her life, working on the grounds of that church where you found her. And you start to see her going about her business, tending the garden, tending the plants, clearly with a lot of tender, loving care. As I mentioned in the previous session, this was back when the church was not the Church of Ecstasy, when it was dedicated to whatever old god that has since fallen. And there's a figure at the edge of a lot of these visions, watching her or talking with her. But whenever you try to direct the vision towards that figure, everything, blackness just kind of spreads out from that, and she gets really aggressive and dissipates, and then you have to kind of like re-put her back together. So you made some progress, but not much, because it seemed to be approaching it in a way that's making her more unstable.
Okay.
So that's how we'll do that for now.
Sounds good.
So is everybody's done their downtime?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we did EXP and crew management last time.
Yes.
So I have some updates.
Oh no.
So the crows have knocked down... I'm sorry. The lamp blacks have knocked down the red sashes one tier, as they continue to push them off of their territory. In the wake of your attack. However, the crows have also been thrown into a complete and utter disarray as Alyssa was taken into custody for murder, and then lynch mob came and broke her out of jail and killed her. Rumors have it that several of the members of that mob were actually members of the Crows, who are upset at her killing of their previous boss to take over the gang. But of course, none of that can be proven. But now there's a huge power vacuum in the Crows, as several lieutenants now compete, because there isn't an obvious line of who should take over for her now that she's gone. So basically, the entire island, if we go back to the map here, the entire area of Crow's Foot that you guys are inside of is pretty jacked up now, where it has really, right before you came on the scene, it was pretty well locked down by the Crows, with the lamp blacks and red sashes having their own territory, but more or less being vassals of the Crows. All that's gone now. So the red sashes are down one tier, so they're actually tier 1 now with you. And the lamp blacks are now tier 3. And the Crows have moved from a strong tier 2 to a weak tier 2.
Okay.
In addition to that, there's some other things that you're not readily aware of that have changed that will come up as you guys explore and interact with other districts more. But the world is moving. You're just in your little hobbiton over here.
Our little bubble.
Yeah. So,
Well,
go ahead, Emrys. You had a question?
well, I was just going to say, our next thing is normally choose what we want to do for a score. And if there's a huge power vacuum with a whole bunch of lieutenants and nobody really sure who's the one in charge, it might be a good time to try to steal a piece of territory from them, since it's not all locked down.
That's something that you could do. And you have a couple different options of territory that you could go for.
Can we get to turf?
You can get to turf in two different Oh no, only one No, two directions.
Two, yeah.
Right off the lair and off the covert drops. I
If
can't
we can
remember exactly what turf specifically does for. Oh right, the straight turf just reduces the level up requirement for your gang.
Oh, nice.
So,
Where the-
did we?
We don't have. I don't know why that's filled in because you guys don't have any yet.
Yeah. Do we? So what do we have? Do we have informants and covert drop, or just covert drop?
You have informants and covert drops. Informants is the one you started with, because you
We
guys
could-
you took it as what? You guys took the informants as like the very first thing you did in this game after you did the mission for the Lamp Blacks.
One thing we might want to consider is instead of turf, attached to the informants is infirmary. +1 die to all healing rolls for all of us. Forever.
Since we all like getting fucked up.
I mean, turf is good. We'll level up faster. We'll go to a stronghold from a weak hold faster, and we'll go from from strong to tier 2 faster. But on the other hand, an infirmary.
I might be a little biased, but I vote for infirmary.
All right. Is it, what do Dimey and Bluefoot think?
I could go with infirmary. I could also go with either. No, I could also go with I think lookouts, which I think would be good for all of us who.
You can't get to lookouts just yet.
Oh,
Yeah, we got to get turf first.
I get it.
Yep, you have to be connected through a direct line to the lair.
Yeah, infirmary is I think the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So next comes my favorite part of the way that these types of missions work. Who are you taking it from?
The Red
one-
Sox, of course.
No, we're taking it from the ones who have no lieutenants at the moment, or whose leader just got killed and lieutenants are scrabbling.
Oh,
Crows?
The crows?
Yes, because I mean they might get back at us, but how will they know which one of them will get back at us? There's no leadership. There's no coherency.
The crows are still like the biggest.
No, they got knocked down to tier 1.
No,
No,
they're just weak tier 2. They're still a tier above you.
Yes, if we
Keeping in
steal
mind
enough,
keeping in mind the highest tier gangs are tier 4. So crows are the biggest fish in this pond, but Doskvol is the ocean. But they're no small fish. But yeah, they are very fractured right now. But yeah, so this is what we discuss.
How about? Here's an idea. We go to one faction of the crows and say, "We'll solve a problem with your internal dispute in exchange for this turf."
Okay.
Not a bad idea.
I like that idea
Okay.
because that'll also keep them from getting on our back too much for just outright taking it.
All right.
Right.
So
If that other faction sort of comes back hard and ends up sort of winning an upset, then we're really in trouble. But how could that happen? I see no possible backfire to this plan.
We are writing the story.
that's right. That's the idea. Balder.
I hear the purring.
Oh my god, he's so close. Yeah. Oh my. ASMR.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, I'm trying to. Why can't I ever find it? All right.
In combination with the purring.
All right.
You
So
guys hear that?
what's your approach? Actually, I'm gonna say if you're gonna do it this way, if you're gonna approach, let's say, Lieutenant, we'll call him,
We do not have any lieutenants for the crows so far.
Yeah, we'll just call him Rowan.
I was thinking we should call him Mishka.
Yeah. So
A bit of a reversal.
Pavel!
Oh,
yeah. So
let's
Rowan,
not get in a bit of an issue.
Rowan is willing to do what you ask. If you're willing to take care of one of his clearest rivals for taking over or significantly damage their position. But because you're approaching it in this way, where you're basically trying to repair the rep loss that you would have with the overall faction by working for the faction, it's gonna limit your planning approaches. Now, you don't have to take this, but instead of you having the ability to choose, he's gonna give you the ability to either do a transport or assault option to accomplish this. The transport option is by carrying a bunch of coin through contested territory to be able to pay for some mercenaries to strengthen his position, and then he'll just let you have the infirmary. Or the other one is assault, to run the lieutenant off yourself, and then if you do that and take enough of his guys with him to affect the outcome of this conflict, he will build his territory around it, but let you keep the infirmary.
Given what we do, I'm thinking the transport would probably be more our alley.
I agree.
Pun intended.
Agreed.
Okay, so you're going to take the transport option. So you're going to be guiding a carriage worth of coin. Let's go to the map. I'm the map. From the docks, if I can... I don't think it's going to let me zoom in. But if you guys are following what I'm doing on my mouse here, it's from this main road that goes across the docks on the outer edge, and then goes straight into Crow's Foot. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you need to take it from the third from the top docks onto that main road, and from that main road down into the center of Crow's Foot to his warehouse. Okay?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
let's go back over here. And now, so you guys are going to transfer some gold for Rowan, and Baldur's going to shed all over me. Who wants to roll the engagement roll? And then you guys design everything that happens, everybody that's attacking, the entire thing. Who wants to do the engagement roll?
I haven't done one in a while.
Gosh, I'm just like covered in cat hair now. It's sticking to me.
You had at least you're dealing with something you can pet. I have a spider climbing the wall right next to me, and I don't know where it went.
He just wants to be your friend.
You can pet spiders.
Not ones that are this small. I'd gush him. Come on, machine.
So, how many dice would we get for the engagement roll?
Well, you're doing something particularly daring, so I'd give you one additional die.
And that's just rolling a
Fortune.
fortune, right?
And we start off with 1, so a total of 2.
Should we do loadouts?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What kind of loadout is everybody carrying?
I'm taking heavy, y'all, just in case.
Yeah. I'm taking a loadout for Bear, 7.
I'm going heavy.
How'd you get 7?
Isn't it? Isn't it 357?
It is 357.
6.
Mine's 6.
Mine is
Oh.
3
Oh. I'm sorry, my mistake. 6.
I was about
I'm
to
sorry.
say.
I honestly thought it was 357. My mistake.
Okay, so roll that.
I think we're all-
beautiful
Yeah, I think we're all taking heavy.
cool.
Yeah. No stealth needed. I'm terrified to put my feet on the floor.
He's more afraid of you than you are of him.
Hey, a 6.
Doubtful. Very doubtful.
So you're in a controlled position
Nice.
at the start of it. So describe the scene to me, Birdie, as you all are moving through the city with this cart. Is everybody on the cart? Just
No.
paint me a picture with your mind brush. Because you would probably be the most in charge of this as the hound.
Okay, I am not on the cart. I'm on the roof.
So you're running along rooftops keeping up with this cart.
Yeah, because looking at this, if I can get back to it, looking at the map and like counting blocks, I can probably. They start small, and eventually I am going to have to hop down and get with the cart. But to start off, and at every opportunity, I want to have the high ground, and we're going to put Abernathy, who talks good, and Bluefoot, who looks good, at the front of the cart.
Okay.
Jonas, you have to sort yourself out, because I don't know what whispers do, but I'm sure it's going to be spectacular.
Oh, I got something.
You've got a big honking electrical hook. You'll just shank somebody with it.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh,
not
oh
surprised.
no, I got something bigger than that.
I want to talk to your ghost. Now become one.
All right. So let's very briefly describe how you would be dressed for this type of thing, and where you are as part of this plan. Let's start with now that Birdie has already said what she's doing. Why don't we start with you next, Simon Bluefoot?
Yeah, I'm sitting on the sort of front riding area of the carriage, with a hand on the sort of running bar, the roll bar there, and the other hand in my coat, ready to pull for anything I might need.
Okay. Abernathy.
I am probably sitting next to the driver on the other side, kind of body blocking him from whichever side I'm on. I would have my feet as up as possible, and I wouldn't be wearing my fancy waistcoat and cravat. I'd probably be wearing like a more rugged pair of overalls.
Okay. And what about you, Jonas?
So I will be in the carriage, in the lap of luxury, with a big hat and the slightly bloody but slightly covered nice outfit that Bluefoot set up for me at the last party.
Didn't even get it dry cleaned.
I haven't had time.
All right, so
Yeah.
the first challenge in this transport mission is that
Is my video frozen?
it is, but
Yeah.
we can still hear you just fine.
You just try it.
You still look dapper.
Well, thank you.
You're looking quizzically to the left.
I'm gonna try to.
He's looking into the middle distance. He's not a model. The camera just went off.
Yeah. All right, let's get up.
See if that brings it back.
Sure didn't.
Nope, we got
Yep.
you.
Okay.
Perfect. So the first step in this transport mission is that you're going to need to, let's start with plotting out a route. Let's say you're all on the carriage. Birdie is on the roof. Jonas is on the inside. Abernathy, you're also out on the driving area, right?
Yes.
So how do we want to have settled the route? Are you just going to try to take the most direct route and see what happens? Does somebody want to do something with a flashback and say that they planned one somehow? The world is your black slimy oyster, as I said last time.
My thought
Well-
is we take the main road straight there.
Well, I was.
See, this carriage, is it like an actual carriage? Is it like a stagecoach? What kind of carriage are we dealing with here?
So
And
this
what
is
Day are we doing this?
what's
It's
the
all-
what? Well, one question at a time. So the type of cart that this is one that you would decide, because you guys are the ones who would have set up this whole thing. It's going to need to be some sort of carriage that can hold a significant amount of gold, because you're currently holding 8 coins worth of coin and gold, silver and gold pieces. So just for our viewers, because I can see that there's a few new people in here, rather than bean count individual gold coins like you would in other fantasy RPGs, Blades in the Dark works off of an abstraction where basically one coin is one really expensive thing. So each coin after that is kind of like an exponential increase in the amount of wealth. So when something is 1 coin, it's like one fine item or expensive thing. 2 coin is like a lot of money, like a month's wages for a strong business. 3 coin, it's like an exponential increase. So they're transporting a significant amount of money.
We are transporting right now as much as we can hold in our vault.
This would likely be a literal king's ransom.
Yeah. Which again begs the question, what time of day are we doing this? Because nighttime seems like we're asking for shit to go down.
Keeping in mind, there's only nighttime in this
Let's
setting.
say it's always nighttime.
No, okay.
You mean when the city
Third
is
shift.
active?
I mean third shift.
Yes.
Third shift is asking for shit to go down. If we just move this like it's nothing.
You mean you want to try moving it during the normal course of business? Like,
During, like
when there would be a lot of street traffic.
Yes.
Okay, what do other people think of that?
I mean, we're in a controlled position. That seems like a way to exert some control. We can try to, not be the only people on the road at the moment.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to do main thoroughfares. Like, you can see on the map there are a lot of ways to get there. Because I'm guessing all of these spaces between gray blocks are alleys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are plenty of fucking ways to get there. It depends.
Well, yeah. The only real choke points that you have to deal with is the bridges.
Right.
Damn the torpedoes, straight at them.
Okay, so if you're gonna do daytime and you're just gonna try to find, at least initially, follow the main lines of traffic to not arouse suspicion.
That would be my thought, yeah.
All right.
Agreed.
So the first thing that's going to happen, especially if you do it during normal time of day business. Give me 1 second. I need to look up something.
I found my spider.
Is he friendly?
I don't know.
Is as you pull out of the armored or the reinforced like stone warehouse near the docks, near one of the big merchant docking ports, not one of the Leviathan ports. As you move out, 3 gentlemen in what can loosely be called uniforms. They're dressed similarly, but their clothes are not super fine. Go, oi! And they kind of step in front of the cart and put their hands up, and you recognize them as members of the Dockers Union, basically the porters that load and unload ships. Let's see your shit, then. They're referring to the, basically the punch card that the Dockers give you to let other Dockers know that you've paid the tithe for their efforts.
I will take care of this. What I'm going to do is I have 6 things worth of load. One of the items I can have is documents. I specify the document when I do it. So I'm going to pull out an already punched Dockers Union chit that I perhaps lifted off of somebody or just acquired previously. I can do a flashback for that if you'd like.
No.
to have
Go
an
ahead.
already.
Go ahead and what do you think? We'll roll. I need to see your sheet. What does your sheet do? Blup 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 blup. Do me a favor and roll. Go ahead and roll sway with 2 additional dice. So roll 3 dice.
All right. So position controlled for the 6 on the engagement roll. Effect standard. Bonus dice 2. Submit. I got a 5.
All right. So he kind of like looks it over and he's like, "Oi, all right then. What do you got in there?" And he hands it back to you, but he doesn't get out of the way. And one of his compatriots starts moving towards the passenger compartment of the cart, where Jonas is basically hanging out with several like reinforced crates of money.
I've got this. So, foreseeing that there might be a problem, I'm going to flash back and say that I tinkered a sort of false back interior with shelves full of bolts of cloth.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I like this.
So go ahead and I would say that that's a 1 stress flashback. And then go ahead and roll the tinker check from a controlled position.
Oh, that's funny.
Standard effect?
Correct.
5?
Okay. So what I'm going to say is that you convince the dockers to leave you alone, and there is a minor complication that occurs. So the 2 gentlemen that are outside, that's Abernathy and Bluefoot, correct?
Yes.
So as you guys are kind of navigating this, and Simon, let's say you jump down and basically, "Oh, no, yeah, of course. And you lead the guy to the back just to kind of show him what you're carrying, and you're like, "Fine silk, from the Spider Isles," and you're going over, like, the stuff in the back. You catch eyes of 2 gentlemen that you can't identify who are smoking, like, leaning up against the corner where you're being shaken down. And you notice them, like, kind of examining this scene, and then the one whispers to the other and nods, and the other one nods, and they both just kind of put their hands in their pockets, snuff their little lantern that they're carrying, and kind of disappear into an alley.
That's
Lovely.
this.
Oh boy, what side of the street are they on? Are they on the side of the street with me?
No.
Fucker.
See, you asked that question wrong. Are they on the left or right side? And then when he answers, you're like, "Oh well, good thing I'm on."
All right, so that handles that problem. So now you're going to continue moving on. And as you travel across the docks towards the bridge, it's pretty slow going. It's not like you're being detained or waylaid in any way, but like there's tons of traffic. The streets are super narrow. The bridges are a natural choke point. So especially since the Bluecoats check papers for trade shipments and also extract tolls, legal or otherwise, at these choke points, it tends to get queued up a little bit, especially during peak hours of the day. So as you're queuing up to get towards the bridge, you're sitting there and, there's all the factories are in full fire here in the docks, the Leviathan treatment and like purification plants, as well as various other industrial products the air is just like choked full of like soot and that smell of like rancid fat being boiled and burned.
Mmm.
Delicious. Smells almost like my work.
So as you're sitting in this big queue line with your horses slowly getting like more and more impatient, mirroring your own feelings, do me a favor, and I'm gonna say that Daimi notices that some of the hawkers and peddlers who come up to the various people who are waiting in line to cross, trying to hawk their wares, one by one, they seem to be backing off and going their separate ways and like moving away from the carts near yours.
Hmm. Can I add on to someone else's flashback? Or will I have to flashback myself as well?
You'll have to do your own flashback.
Okay. Never mind. Okay. I have, as part of my loadout, I can have throwing knives. Can I... This is going to sound ridiculous. Can I ready an action?
No, because that's not how this game works.
Is anyone approaching?
You didn't ask if you noticed anyone, and you didn't say that you searched for anyone.
Yeah.
Not
Now,
searching for anyone. I'm seeing people backing away. If anyone approaches the cart, I'm going to throw a knife into the side of the cart.
well, part of it is we're on the bridge now, right?
No, you're queued
So
up to
right
go across the
bridge.
bridge.
Okay, so you are still on the rooftops at this point.
Yes.
Or would you... Okay, so you may be able to start making your way down to the cart because, I mean, we're in the queue for the bridge, and then you could tell us what you notice.
Or just hop on the back.
Will you let me get away with that, boss?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. But I've already told you what you readily notice with your, like, resting faculties.
Can I study something before I come down?
Sure, you can study whatever you want as long as you tell me what you're studying and what you notice.
I mean, I want to study the scene.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
I'm going to roll.
Roll it.
And I have a controlled position still.
So far.
Standard, no bonus. Come on, dice, like me today. Nice. What are the blue coats doing?
The blue coats that are on duty at the queue at the like little toll booth, a little ways up towards the entrance of the bridge, seeming to be having some sort of very loud verbal altercation with a group of pedestrian, like teenage, like street gang people who are they're like harassing like young punks basically, and they seem not to be paying attention to the carriages or queuing them along.
Mm-hmm. I have an idea
Let's hear
to
it.
get through this. What if I were to use a flashback to have, don't we have a contact in the Blue Coats, I think?
No.
Oh, I thought we did. To, like, find out which of the Blue Coats was on work that day.
You
And
don't have to
arrange-
have a contact specifically for
Yeah.
that. You can say you do a flashback and develop that content, and you name them right then, and then the dice roll determines how reliable they are.
All right, because pretty much what I wanted, if it goes exactly how I want, is that I find a contact in the Bluecoats. I find one of the guys who's working the bridge that day, independent of what Daimi's doing. Like, I've arranged with him to get us through. I just noticed they're in this altercation. I start calling out to him, and then I can bribe him with something like, I don't know, maybe a fine bottle of whiskey, which is hard to come by, which is another item I could procure from my load instead of any coin to rush us through this.
So
Shit,
go ahead.
We have the silk we can give up. Like, we don't need that. We can give up half what we're carrying.
He has to give them something off of their sheet for his movements.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
so go ahead and do a 2 stress flashback. I like that.
Ooh.
All right, so I'm up to 4 stress.
You're gonna find somebody who likes a little taste of the extra sauce, and we'll say his name is Orion.
Yeah.
And he's gonna become a temporary contact. We'll say that. Go ahead and put a clock on your sheet, and every time you use him, make it a 4 movement clock. Every time you use him, you're gonna fill up 1 segment of this clock. So you've already used up 1 segment, and then go ahead and roll the consort.
So, alrighty. So the clock's good name is Orion of the Bluecoats is my ally. I put 1 clock there. I'm going to mark the fine bottle of whiskey off my load because that's what I'm using. I'm going to roll consort, position, controlled, standard, no bonus dice. Go.
Okay, so you succeed at setting up for him to be here. And for you to, you've already provided the bribe. So he's basically waiting with the finished documentation that you're just carrying silk and ready to usher you through.
Yes.
The minor complication that I am offering is that utilizing him is going to increase the heat of this mission. Because he's not particularly discreet.
You
can avoid that with stress if you'd like.
Do I get to ask if that's going to be +1 or +2?
It's +1.
And I think I am okay with taking an extra +1 heat to avoid whatever's about to go down at this bridge by using this guy. So we will take 1 extra heat. I'll holler up, or we'll explain the heat by me hollering up, by me standing on the thing, going, "Hey, buddy," and calling out to him, and that's why people notice, and we get the extra +1 heat.
That's fine. So a bunch of people swear at you as you're ushered up to the front, and your carriage cuts in front of a bunch of other people. Birdie, do me a favor and just roll study with no modifications. So there's no negatives to this roll. I just wanted to do an over-under. So you notice several gentlemen who look like they were trying to conceal clubs under their jackets, where their jackets weren't resting right against their bodies, who started coming out of one of the alleys, and right as you started to get ushered forward, they basically backed away back into the alley. So
what else do I know about them? Notice about them? What should I write down? Do they remember us?
There were 6 of them. You don't recognize any of them personally, and they're dressed in black leather, black leathers, black clothes. They have soot smeared on their faces, and they have hoods up.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. So are you gonna jump down onto the carriage so you can get across the bridge?
Directly onto the carriage? Fuck yeah, I'm that badass.
Great.
Jonas, you would just hear the thunk on top.
All right. So Jonas, what are you doing through all of this?
I don't want to give away my ace in the hole. I guess I'm just kind of sitting here.
You're just pretending to be the talent.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here looking out the window, grimacing at people, looking like I'm inconvenienced by the traffic.
Okay, so you guys get ushered across the bridge, and now you are back in your native Crow's Foot. I'm going to assume that you did not truck all the way up to the northern bridge, or the eastern bridge. You went across the western bridge, because north is south to north is right to left on this map.
God, why would you make a map like this?
Because it's Japan, okay. So you're back in Crow's Foot. You're back in friendly territory. That's the word we'll use.
How far do we have to go?
You've completed roughly 1/3 of the total trip. So this is where you can kind of do flashbacks to kind of like pre-avoid things. Does anybody have anything that they think would have been an interesting plan to have done? Yes, Daimi, you don't have to raise your hand.
You were still talking. Can I flash back to talking to my buddy Casta? Have we established if that's a boy or a girl?
No, you have not established whether or not your contact is a boy or a girl.
In light of recent events, we're going to say that it's a they.
Okay.
I like it.
I'm going to say that I've arranged with them to be on the rooftops of Crow's Foot to sharpshoot for us, because they are also a bounty hunter. I'm assuming they have some weapons experience. So that after I jump down onto the cart, I still have someone over my shoulder watching my ass.
So you're convincing somebody to...
Who is my friend?
Yes, to do a favor for you without payment, at least at first. So you're going to need to roll consort. And this is a 1 stress flashback.
Hooray! 1 stress. Come here, fucker. Consort. Controlled. My boy is home. Hi! I'm waiting for the computer to do what I want it to do. Sleeping.
Okay, no, you succeed. 4-5 is succeed with a complication.
They're going to ask for something outlandish in payment.
No, not necessarily. I would just say that what this comes at the cost of is that you've engaged this person to help, and they are going to help, and they're going to do the job. They're going to hole up at one of the, we'll say one of the other watchtowers of Crow's Foot that has a nice view of this bridge and over a decent chunk of the path that you're planning on carrying. And what they end up doing is they end up picking off someone who's following you, like legitimately following you, that you don't notice. And what they've done is they've moved your position from controlled to risky as that shot rings out.
Sorry, guys.
Across a crowded street. And now there's whistles blowing and people moving to get off of the street as quickly as possible.
Blend in, blend in, blend in.
Well, I mean, if that's going on, we would obviously want to speed up to get to our destination. Everyone's trying to clear out. We're going to clear out in the direction that we need to go to.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that's fair. Who's driving?
And
I thought
driver?
that I thought
we had a driver.
Oh,
Yeah.
You guys think that you had a professional driver?
we
That's fair.
thought-
If you guys want to have a driver, that's fine. Yeah, we can do that.
it would make sense that the guy who's providing the coin is giving his own person there to keep us from just
Oh, right. You're just
going
the
off
body.
with it.
Bonding,
You're
yeah.
just the body. Well, you would eventually probably get killed, but yes. That's fair. Yeah. So the driver's gonna, if you direct him to, the driver's gonna try to take off and move through the city more quickly.
So I'm gonna say I'm gonna try to do a flashback.
Okay.
Actually, no, I don't need to do a flashback. I'm just gonna pull something from my load. I'm gonna take from my bandolier of alchemicals. Basically, horse steroids or goat steroids.
Yeah, it would be a goat.
Yeah, performance enhancing drugs.
What's pulling the cart?
Goats.
Oh my god.
The
This
kind of
fucking
thing
game.
into racing animals before the race to make them.
Run faster.
Horses are way too delicate to have survived in this type of apocalyptic world. You need something that could eat basically anything. And that's goats, baby.
So what do they race? Mice?
Pigs.
They race goats.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna pull out this alchemical and tinker to administer it.
Yeah.
To what?
The
Oh.
goats.
The goats.
So we're risky.
So let me get this picture straight. You are jumping out on the rigging between
The goats.
cart and the goats.
I'm climbing
Robert,
out onto
no
the yoke. I'm climbing out onto the yoke to drug the goats to make them go faster.
It's just pure adrenaline. The goats are just gonna go. "Wah!"
Science. That's
I
just leech science.
I jumped down off a roof wearing probably like a froofy coat to look badass. You're wearing peacock clothes. You don't look like a peacock. You look like a blue-footed booby.
So go ahead and roll it.
He got a
cri-
critical.
That's a critical success.
Oh, never mind. I will eat my hat. You look awesome.
So describe to me what happens
Oh.
and how you guys escape from this scene.
So I, basically wrap my wrist around one of the cords on the front seat as I lower myself out onto the yoke. And hanging from it, I give a swift jab to each of the goats on the team.
Such a ridiculous thought.
Yeah,
But he looks awesome doing it.
I know.
throw the vial underfoot so it gets smashed by the wagon, by the passing wagon's wheels, and
And it makes fireworks behind you because cool guys don't look at
actually
explosives.
pull myself back up.
Okay. So the carriage loudly, clambers over the uneven stones of Crow's Foot, moving at a great speed. The driver deftly dodging in between, the closely packed roads of hawkers' carts and stands and other traffic, pedestrians jumping out of the way. And I will say that you make it to the safe house to deposit the coin. When you arrive at the safe house, momentarily, basically, as you're, unloading these coins very quickly, basically doing like a, what is that, like a fireman's chain? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
With the other members of Rowan's
Bucket Brigade.
Yeah, Bucket Brigade of Rowan's cohort. Those 6 or so gentlemen that Daimi saw before kind of slink out of one of the alleys looking slightly winded, like they had to make great pace to reach you. And as they get closer, you'll notice that the two in front, the soot that you originally thought was haphazardly spread across their faces as kind of a crude mask, is actually painted on to create the appearance of black feathers coming out of both of their eyes and going down their cheeks.
Okay.
And they start approaching. They've got short swords, daggers, and cudgels in hand.
Do they?
They do.
Well.
All right. So I guess I got something for this.
Oh, do you?
I do. So
First.
I have this wonderful ritual that I prepared ahead of time so we can flash back if necessary.
How powerful is it?
So it's based on the size of the object I decide to use it on.
Okay, what size object do you want to use it on?
The carriage.
Okay, that's going to be 2 stress.
Okay, no problem.
Are you doing a gambit?
Oh, no. So my ritual makes whatever object I decide to use it on appear as if it is a ghost or demon. And in this world, people are afraid of these things. So by making the carriage look like a big ghost or demon, it should, theoretically, depending on how well I roll this, scare them away.
So you're going to basically have like chiseled these runes and things into the carriage, put the ingredients in place, and then now you're activating it to try to scare them off.
Correct.
Okay, go ahead and roll that.
All right.
Would like to use my spider effect to have assisted with him somehow, maybe helping use my finesse to help make all the runes are like, I don't know, carved as best as they can be, because I can assist for twice the score with no stress. I want to use that now.
Okay, so then you'll get 1 additional die.
All right.
You looked super dark when you said that too, because all we could see was your eyes.
Well,
So-
I mean, I'm helping him channel the arcane.
Yeah, so I'm going to use my tune. Risky standard effect. You said 1 bonus die?
Yes.
Nice.
6.
Nice.
Okay, so I don't think a ghost necessarily works here, but what do you think that what do you think, what kind of creature or demon do you think this cart turning into would be an appropriate way to scare off hardened Crow gang members?
So my gut react. Have you ever let's see. What in fantasy did I ever find terrifying? Oh, you know what? Have you read any of the Mistborn stuff?
I personally have not, no.
Okay. All right. So I see you mentioning Cthulhu. All right, we'll go with Cthulhu to make it simple. It looks like a big, giant, green, multi-eyed tentacle monster.
Okay, so as you're basically unloading the cart, you activate it and it seems to like rip apart and become like inside of this cart was this giant, hideous, impossible beast of tentacles, eyes, and mouths shrieking loudly into the midday darkness.
Midday, right?
Yeah. All of the gang members definitely pause. The 4 behind the 2 leaders quickly drop what they are holding or just start dragging it behind them as they book away. The other 2 seem to hesitate, doing the kind of like slow walk away with their eyes still locked on it, and then break off at a full run, including several of the people that are helping unload the cart also run away. But you're able to calm down the situation, and in the ensuing time period, you're able to bring in. It's slower going, but you're able to take the people off the bucket line to be able to protect the shipment better while you're unloading, and you're able to successfully unload the shipment And with that money, Rowan is able to kind of throw the weight of his purse around and buy off a lot of the more competent veteran gang members off of some of the more experienced lieutenants, as well as hire a lot of new cohorts for his gang. He's very quickly able to establish himself in a dominant position in this conflict, though he's not in control of the gang yet. So let me adjust that clock. So many clocks.
Can we get any points from him by telling him, hey, they like clocked us from the beginning, you might have a mole?
Sure, you can say whatever you want to say, Bridget.
Okay, well, if I say that to him, what is his response, boss?
Noted. And he's going to say, I think I know who you mean. Thank you. A lot of these things affect clocks and things with him that you're not necessarily aware of. Okay, so let's do EXP and downtime very quickly, and then we will end tonight's session. So, this was something against a gang that was a tier higher than yours. Okay?
Okay.
So normally you would gain the 2 base rep plus 1. Okay? In this case, I would say that since you were doing it both against this gang and for this gang, you're going to gain the normal 2 rep that you would from a job, but your faction standing with the Crows will go up by 1, assuming Rowan wins this conflict. Does that sound fair?
Sounds fair.
Very.
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as heat is concerned, this would provide 3 heat because it would provide...
Oh no!
Ouch.
So you're getting there.
No
we
shit.
should be 1 off still from having another wanted level because I
Yeah.
reduced it in the downtime.
You are.
Which is perfect for my plan.
Oh man.
So I would say that you definitely contended with challenges above your current station, but I don't think you fit any of the other crew advancement items for this particular one because you were kind of forced outside of your wheelhouse a little bit.
You win some, you lose some. I'd say this was a big win, even if we don't get everything.
Because now you guys also have the infirmary.
Yes.
Because of the smoothness of this operation, I'm also going to give the gang 2 coin.
Nice.
Sweet.
Okay, so that's the crew. So let's talk about party advancement. So we're already on Daimi's sheet. So let's start with Daimi.
We're clicking at the same time, boss.
Okay.
Are you doing it or me?
You can do it. So you didn't roll. Nobody rolled any desperate rolls. This went pretty smooth.
That was awesome.
I don't think you expressed your beliefs, heritage, or background.
Nope.
You didn't experience issues from your vice. You did address a challenge with tracking or violence, so you'll get 1 playbook advancement.
Cool.
Okay. Bluefoot.
Yeah. Well, it looks to me like I solved problems with my technical skill.
That's, 100%.
I don't think I really struggled with issues or expressed beliefs, but the challenge with technical skill will fill out my playbook advancement.
Okay, so you reset it and then pick a new special ability.
Hey.
Hooray!
What is the new special ability that you're thinking of taking?
Let me see. I think I might take analyst.
Can you let our viewers know what that does?
During
Or actually, just click on the little bell.
Cool.
So during downtime, you get 2 ticks to distribute among any long-term project that involve investigation or learning a new formula. That's really rad.
Nice.
All right. So I think that's your experience there. That's pretty good. All right, Jonas.
All right, so my ritual counts as, addressing a challenge with arcane power. So that's 1. Outside of that, I don't think I had much of anything unless you count being lazy because of my broken arm.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's all I got. Just 1.
Abernathy.
I would think I got a playbook experience for conspiring with the blue coat to get us past the checkpoint as fast as possible, and that would be all that I would get.
Okay, that's fair. All right, I'll manage the clocks, the NPC clocks in between now and the next session, but let's very quickly talk about downtime. We'll go in the opposite direction this time. Jonas, what are you doing for
so my
downtime?
first downtime activity will be to take advantage of our brand new infirmary and try to recover some from my my busted body.
Okay.
So what do I roll for that?
So you have the doctor on file.
Right.
They've only been used once out of the 4 times that they can be used before they leave. So they have a native of 3, and then the infirmary gives +1 die.
So that's 4.
Correct.
Okay, so number of dice, 4. I think I'm doing this right. Yes? No?
Yep.
Okay.
So
Nice.
a crit is how many ticks, Emrys, on the heal clock?
5.
All right, so that'll
Move
remember-
everything you have down 1, and you'll carry over 1 onto your new heal clock.
okay. So it's now down to 2, and I have one tick on the clock. All right. For my second one, it'll be trying to finish with Jessica here, maybe. See what I roll.
Why do you roll that? I really need to beat Mary.
Okay.
So
what's your other downtime activity going to be?
So since the whole candles and talking didn't seem to work, I am going to attempt to let's see, dark figure, she didn't want to talk about it. This is tough. All right, this might be a little, I don't know how risky this is, but go back to the garden and see if I can force her into showing me what happened.
Okay, rolling a tool roll from a desperate position with standard effect.
Okay.
I have to be right back as well.
So bad.
Okay.
All right. Well, that didn't go so well.
Give me a second. I have something for this. Give me 1 second. So, add a Add a 8-tick clock to your character sheet.
Okay.
Where did somebody close down their camera? What happened to our cameras?
Oh,
Bertie said she'd be right back.
Okay. That name of that clock is Vampiric Aspect. As you become possessed, as you start to basically try to force Jessica to relive her memories and show you, how she met her end. The amount of energy that you pull in to try to help recreate that vision gives her the power to possess your body.
Awesome.
Every downtime activity that you take that's after this one that isn't dealing with that moves you 1 tick towards that 8-tick clock where you become a vampire.
Awesome.
As because 2 spirits have been occupying your body for too long.
Alrighty then. That's stressful.
To help
vampires are
things come
cool.
back.
They're pretty fashionable.
Did you add that to your
I did.
All right. So, Abernathy, what are you doing with your downtime?
Alrighty. First thing I want to do is I can spend one to train. So I'm going to train my playbook XP. Bam, that fills it up. The ability I am going to pick from that, I've actually already discussed this with the group. I'm going to pick Jailbird, which I have just linked in the chat. When incarcerated, our wanted level counts as 1 less, our tier is 1 more, and I gain +1 faction status with the faction I help on the inside, in addition to the incarceration roll. Then, because
That's
I'm
for
here,
you personally. When you're in jail, the wanted level is considered lower for you, and
Yes.
you are considered to be part of a 1 tier higher gang.
correct. It's only for me.
Nobody's
However,
Oh yeah.
oh, you're not going to ask me what I'm going to do after I'm done with my downtime. My second downtime activity, I'm going to train Resolve, because I can only train 1 thing each time, but I can train multiple things. So I'm going to train Resolve. That fills that one up. I'm going to give myself another dot in Sway, and then I'm going to turn myself in.
So when you turn yourself in, how much heat does that take?
It reduces our wanted level by 1, and it completely clears our heat.
Wow.
So Abernathy is now in Iron Hook prison.
But we are now down to wanted level 0 and 0 heat.
Huh.
So next
I don't remember
session,
this part of the conversation.
I talked about it in the Discord.
Yeah.
So
He,
in the
ta-
next,
he talked about basically going to jail to give you guys a man on the inside.
yes,
For
and
that.
since the wanted level is 0, I'm only in there for a few weeks, so I may be back not this next score, but I may be back the score after.
Well, in the
Because
meantime, you're also going to have to make another playbook to play.
yes, I was going to play one of the members, not Jesse, not James. I was thinking of going the continuing on the Pokemon people and playing Cassidy.
Okay, we'll come back to that next session. Bluefoot, what are you doing with your downtime?
Well, first, I'm going to use my newfound analyst ability to work on my quiet oil and put 2 ticks on that long-term project, completing it.
Okay. So you now have a viable recipe for your quiet oil.
And then, for my second activity, I'm going to train prowess, namely prowling, to basically to field test it.
Okay, yeah. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Okay.
So, add a tick to prowess.
Yep. And I'll say, based on the resources that you've already expended, you end with 2 usable vials of the quiet oil to start.
Cool.
2
Nice.
usable doses of it. You can always fabricate more by using time and coin or time and contacts later to acquire the resources.
Okay. I will add that to my alchemicals.
And Birdie, what are you doing with your downtime?
How do I roll healing again?
You're going to be rolling, in this
4.
case, 4 dice. And then you're going to be adding another tick on the team character sheet to the Jeb Markland healer used clock, which it looks like you already did. Oh, no, that one was for
Yeah.
Jonas.
Oh,
I just marked it.
thank you.
And you rolled...
I have 1 6.
Okay, so you get 5 ticks. Or no, 4 ticks because it's not a crit.
And anything you have rolls over because the healing clock's only 4 ticks long.
So I have filled this clock. Do I knock off 1?
No, everything slides down by 1.
Right. So I actually have.
So
one and
bruised rib slides off.
Yeah.
And scared to death slides down to the effect where it just gives you a reduced effect.
All right. Should we do my incarceration roll while we're here really quick?
Well, we're gonna use your incarceration and a replacement for an entanglement roll. Well, you mean like you entering prison?
Yes, we actually get a roll to see about getting stuff going on inside the prison when I go in.
Let's finish Birdie's downtime activities, and then we'll do that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I honestly thought that was your second one. My mistake. I apologize.
It's all right.
I am your right-hand man. You can step on me all you want. I'm going to engage my vice, but I don't remember how.
So you roll your lowest attribute, and then you remove that much. How much stress do you have? 6?
I have 6, yes.
Yeah, so just roll your lowest attribute.
There is also a button that says Indulge Vice.
Is there?
There
Yes.
it is.
It's right next to where your Vice and Purveyor thing is.
I was joking.
Oh.
I reminded Aaron of that very
So
thing.
you have 2 stress remaining. You remove 4,
Beans.
and your vice is drugs now.
No, I haven't changed it all the way over. I'm still going home. I'm making one last trip home before I get the fuck away from these pieces of shit.
All right. So Abernathy, let's roll your engagement roll for jail. Let's go to prison.
All right. I'm going to burn 2 stress for an extra die, and I'm going to burn 2 stress for a greater effect level. So I'm going to go from 4 stress to 8 stress, but I'll get an extra die and greater effect, which should pretty much up the tier of everything I do.
Going to jail is pretty stressful.
Yes. So I'm going to roll fortune for this because I don't see a jail roll. The number of dice, we have 1 die for each PC tier level, and I have an extra die from... Well, I'll count that later. So 1 die for being tier 1. Notes, submit. Oh, it was only 1. I need to roll 2 more dice. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, so that's a 2. Just roll 2 more.
No notes. Oh, that's no good. Alrighty. Well, 1 to 3 would be it's horrific. I suffer a level of trauma, but I spent the stress for greater effect. So would that bump me up to the 4 to 5?
Yeah.
So I keep my head down and do my time with no incident. And from my jailbird, we get one rep with someone with a faction that's also got someone incarcerated, which we can work on over the break.
Yeah, just make sure that you notate that.
Yes.
All right. I think that's a pretty exciting mission. Really ironing down on your alliances. Everybody watching, thanks very much for taking time out of your Monday evening to come hang out with us. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for playing.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Good
you all.
night.
Stay dandy. Do crimes.